Good morning, everybody. And this week on my blog, I've been talking about cardiovascular health. So if you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure or high cholesterol and you're a little bit worried, or if there's somebody in your family that has a tendency to have cardiovascular problems and you're concerned about yours, then this might be of interest to you. So yesterday was all about the balance of fats, because if you've been diagnosed as having high cholesterol levels, you're immediately going to go to looking at fats in your diet. Everybody does, and that is the correct thing to do, because there are good fats and bad fats. And this is all in my blog, so I'm just going to skirt over it very quickly. The bad fats are the ones you want to remove. You want to be removing the saturated fats, the trans fats that you find in pastries, biscuits, pasties, cakes, all the good stuff, and fried foods. They're all the things you need to be looking at lowering, and dairy, too much dairy as well. But conversely, you want to be increasing your good fats. So things like avocados, nuts and seeds, oily fish, these good fats are going to help balance the ratio of the LDL and the HDL and get that cholesterol back into balance. Anyway, moving on. Today is all about glucose. So this might not be on your radar if you've been diagnosed with hypertension or high glucose, but it needs or high cholesterol, but it needs to be on your radar because it's absolutely imperative. And for many people with high blood pressure, this ultimately is the root cause that I see in clinic. And I have reversed high blood pressure with people, and I have reversed high cholesterol with people by addressing this, amongst other things. Glucose then is basically sugar. It's sugar in its smallest form, and a little bit we need for our brains, we need for our muscles, we need for energy. But our diets are far too high in glucose. I think the statistic is that in 1 year of a Western person's diet, we have more sugar than a Victorian person had in their entire lifetimes. That's scary, isn't it? So where do we get glucose from then? Well, there's the obvious sources. So sweet treats, cakes, biscuits, snacks, sugary snacks. But so many people are carb centric with their diets. You know, have a big bowl of pasta, big bowl of spaghetti bolognese, lasagnas, garlic breads, bread, white rice. All these starchy carbohydrates are equally really high in glucose. Why is this a problem if you've got high blood pressure, or why is it a problem for your cardiovascular health? Well, let me tell you this. The human body can only cope with about 2 teaspoons of glucose in the circulating blood at any one time, sometimes less with some people. So any more than that, it's dangerous. So the body has to deal with what's coming in, because you can take 4 teaspoons full in just a healthy, which isn't healthy, snack bar. So the body has to have a system to get rid of excess glucose out the blood. And this is where insulin comes in. And I'm going to make this really simple, but basically, so insulin goes around mopping up all the extra that we don't want in the circulating blood. And it will store some away in muscles for you to use with walking and exercising. And the rest goes through a conversion process and is made into a substance called glycogen, and it gets stored away in the liver, a bit like a pantry, so that if you run low in glucose, your body can nip in, get a little bit, convert it back and use it. It's keeping it safe, it's keeping it out of the blood. However, the liver can only hold so much. It's not like Mary Poppins's bag. It's not an infinite pantry. It has a capacity. And when that capacity is full, the body knows it cannot release this sugar into the blood. It's too dangerous. So what else can it do? Well, it gets its magic wand out, goes abracadabra, and it turns it into a substance called triglycerides. Now, triglycerides are measured on your cholesterol checks. They are a bad, dangerous type of fat if they go too high. And the thing with triglycerides is they get stored as visceral fat, which is the fat that surrounds organs. So not only are triglycerides responsible for plaque deposits in your arteries often on the branches where your arteries branch off, clogging up the flow and making you more at risk of developing blood clots. But triglycerides also, as they're in between all your organs, they put a lot of pressure on those organs that they're surrounding. So in my Happy Heart Health Check that I do, and you can read all about the science a bit more in a bit more detail on my blog, which there's a link below. But in my Heart Health Check, I do check glucose levels with you. That's if you can visit me in clinic. It's something that has to be done in clinic. If you can't, that won't be in your blood test kit, but you can go and get that done with your GP, and I'll look at your results for you. So the Heart Health Check checks for everybody your cholesterol panel. So I will be looking at detail at the balance between your HDL and LDL, looking at your ratios, looking at your triglycerides, looking at what's going on there. It also looks for inflammation, because inflammation is bad on the cardiovascular system, and it has a liver function test. You might think, why is a liver function test in a cardiovascular test? Well, your liver creates bile, and bile goes to the gallbladder and then is used when you eat a fatty food to break it down and to metabolize fats properly. If your liver is a little bit slow or running less than optimally, this metabolizing of fats can be impacted, and that can also cause problems with your cholesterol. So when somebody comes to me with high cholesterol, I always look at what's going on with the diet first of all, although it's only a small amount of cholesterol that we take in from our diet. It's only about 20%. The rest is something to do with our bodies and how we're working with fats. I look at their glucose intake and their blood sugar balance, and I look at their liver and gallbladder. Very important. So this test also looks at vitamin D, B12, folate, iron levels, and your thyroid, because each one of those things can also affect your cardiovascular health. So with vitamin D, for example, that is heavily involved in the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, which is a big, long, fancy set of words. Basically means how you regulate your blood pressure. Folate, if your folate goes low, you create a substance called homocysteine, which is very inflammatory for the cardiovascular system. Many people who have high homocysteine levels develop problems with the cardiovascular system. It's scientifically proven to make you more vulnerable to strokes, heart attacks, and problems with this system. B12 and iron, both of these are very important for making sure that the body is oxygenized properly and oxygenating cells. And if it's not, that puts massive pressure on the heart to pump harder and pump faster. So the test involves a blood test that I can post to you if you don't live near me, and then I have a one-to-one with you, and we go through your results and we come up with a plan of how to support you. So any nutrient deficiencies that show up will be addressed. I can talk to you about helping your liver, your blood sugar balance, and anything else that I can see. So I can do this by Zoom if you're not around these parts, or you're very welcome to come and see me in person in my clinic, where I'll give you a warm welcome. Okay, have a read of the blog. It's a theme this week. I'll be adding to it each day. Take care. Have a great day. Look after your hearts.